guys, Shana Games here today and welcome back to my channel. We're back with another Sims 4 speed build. So today I thought it would be fun if we come in and we have these two cottages and we renovate them in like opposite styles, I guess. So the one I'm currently doing now we're going to keep as cottages. It's going to have some of like the original features, like a nice fireplace, some exposed brick walls, that kind of stuff. And then the other one we're going to renovate as if someone has brought it but then removed all the original features and made it into a modern house. Because I don't know why I've done this though, because I hate it. Like, everyone could do, I'm just gonna say, people can do with their houses what they want, okay? If you're buying it, you do what you want. But I hate it when people buy these cottages, because I'm from Wales and we had so many of them, and then people come in and buy them and they strip everything out and they make it super modern inside and they get rid of all that history. And I really hate it, because it's like, if you want to have a modern house, buy a modern house, you know? Like, in my opinion, I'm of the view, like, we won't ever get these features back because they were made long ago, they were handcrafted, and we can't replace them. So once someone rips them out of a house, they're just gone forever, and I think it's really sad. So I feel like when you buy a house, you should only be able to change things that can be replaced. So like, if you take the fireplace out, you can only do that. If you can replace it with, like, at some point someone could put it back in, if that makes sense. But people are probably not going to agree with me on that one, because they're like, if you build a house, you can do what you want. And yeah, that is a point. But I kind of feel like you should only be able to do that to a certain extent. And I think with our old houses that have, like, maybe, like, just like the old ones that have, like, hand-carved features or just, like, craftsmanship gone into them, I don't think you should be able to take that out. If it's, like, generic stuff or, like, mass-produced stuff, fine, yeah, you can remove that. I'm not bothered. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. And that is what we're doing today. So for this one, this is going to be the cottagey side, if you hadn't already guessed. And I wanted to utilise rooms, because in these little cottage houses they are all roomed off, like, it's never open plan. And the rooms often are very small, they're very, like, compact. And I wanted to get that feel across. And then also I was trying to fit in, like, an exposed brick wall, but I couldn't find the right colour of brick that I wanted. They were all either too, like, grey, which I didn't think fit, or they were too, like, red. I kind of wanted just more of a stone effect. I do come back later and find one that does kind of fit, and I go with that one, but for now I have removed it. And then in this build, I also wanted to utilise a lot of tiles, because in the cottages round by me, because I am in Wales and we have a lot of quarries, a lot of these cottages have, like, quarry tiles in the hallways and in the entryways. So I was trying to recreate that in this little entryway I have here, and kind of just do something like that on the floor, just as a nod to that, I guess. I wasn't sure what to do on the walls, because I feel like in these cottages, a lot of the walls are kind of like as if probably just plastered or like a very settled stone texture. They're not always painted in that, but I couldn't find like something that fits exactly. I think the kitchen wallpaper is the closest I could get, so I just went with this neutral colour. And then in the entryway here, I just make it like a little seating area like I normally do. I found that in these cottages they do tend to have a tiny porch, but there's not really much in there. There's maybe like a side table, somewhere for you to put your purse, somewhere to put your shoes, that kind of thing. But they do often have like a little porch or a little entryway, either off the front door or off the back door, so I kind of wanted to recreate that. Also, I will apologise, I lost the footage of me actually building these. I did it in 2 separate sessions. I came in one day and I like built them with the plan to decorate them, and I did record it, and then I came back in at a later date to decorate them, and I can't find the footage of me like building them. I must have accidentally deleted it, so I am sorry. So we have lost that, but you can kind of see it. I only did the basic. I only did like the walls and the windows. I've kind of left the landscaping to do in this video, so you haven't missed too much. So yeah, I just added in a side table with some little decor, like a little rabbit there as like a nod to the cottagey stuff, a little plant, and then I put some shoes underneath with some bags. Because I don't imagine this is necessarily for an older couple, even though it's like an older style house. I just think I wanted to add some like bags so they can still be young, and they've just got like their work bags and stuff. So I've just added that into there. I feel like we have kit bags for the kids, but it'd be cool if you had like briefcases and stuff. Do you like for the adults? Because we still use bags to go to work or to put all your stuff in, so like laptop bags and stuff. I wish we kind of had that. I know we have that one from the clutter kit that goes on the wall, but it'd be nice if we had something that could go on the floor. To be honest, I just need to stop harping on about it, because I will always ask for more clutter. I just love clutter. And then in this kitchen, I found it really hard initially to get like some sort of layout going on. I've left myself with such a funky shape that I didn't really know what to do with the kitchen. like where to put things. I have this kind of funny shape here by the side of the entryway, like a little square, and then we have this room off to the side. So in the end, I kind of go for a galley kitchen. I wrap it around one corner, and then I do like a long L shape, which is very cottage. Like a lot of the cottages I go to have these galley kitchens. I then use that nook just for the fridge because I was like, nothing else can go in there. And then so I just put the fridge there. And I do think the layout comes out in the end. It's a little bit funky, but I think sometimes these cottage kitchens are, because the rooms are so small and they're like so funny shaped, that the kitchen just has to fit in the shape. So they're not always like your standard wraparound kitchen. So it does still fit. And then I didn't add too much clutter again because the space is quite small, so I didn't want to like overpower it, I guess. I gave them a microwave and somewhere for their coffee, and then just some kind of like, I call it basic clutter, but it's my basic clutter. It's like the clutter I do in every one. It's like the stand that goes next to the sink, the bread bin, like the toilet, the kitchen roll holder, the things to cook with, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I put it in all my builds, so it's just like the basic stuff. And then on the wall there, I used these pots and pans because I love them and I think they definitely give a cottage vibe. And then I did include like that little chicken. I imagine it's maybe like an egg holder, so like the lid pop, like the chicken can pop off, and that's where you keep all your eggs. I think that'd be so cute. The only thing this build is missing, which we don't have, is in a lot of like these cottages, they have these, I can't remember what they're called. It's basically like a rack, and it goes on the ceiling, and you can lower it down with like a rope, and you put clothes over it. It's like slats, and you can put clothes over it, and then you raise it again. And it's like an olden day version of a clothes horse, but we don't have anything like that. I don't think, unless I missed it. I imagine we'd probably have got one with laundry day, but I did have a look and I couldn't find one. But yeah, that is the only thing that is missing from this kitchen that would have been 100% in a cottage. And then I just finished off the walls with some basic signs here. I add in some little aprons as if they've been cooking, because I think that would be so cute. And then just some chalkboards on the wall there. I'm not sure why I moved them. I think there must be a reason. I think in this corner here, because I needed to add a window. That was it. Because when I did the build, I only added in the basic windows because I wanted to leave the rest until I'd done the floor plan, so I could see like where the rooms were, so where I could fit the windows in. So yeah, only the front has a window. So that is why I had to move it, because this kitchen currently has no windows, and I'm glad I clocked it when I did, because when I did the grandpa house, I think it was like the old person's house, for the elder's house, for when I renovated the EA starter house, I forgot to do windows until the last minute, and at that point I had put so much clutter on the walls, and I had to go and remove it all and move it around these windows, and it was an absolute nightmare because I had to get rid of half it, and it made me sad because I loved how it looked. So I was glad I actually realised I didn't have any windows in this room before I had gone ahead and like cluttered everything up. I finally managed to find some blinds, and I used these ones from Cottage Living that fit these windows perfectly, and it kind of makes sense because the windows are also Cottage Living, so if they didn't fit those windows, then what windows were they going to fit? And then I started to come in to do this little side room, and I was thinking maybe doing it as a bathroom initially, and then as I was doing it, I was like, actually these houses don't really have downstairs bathrooms. The only thing you could possibly find is a toilet under the stairs. So I decided to leave this, and then the plan was to do upstairs, get the layout upstairs, and then if I couldn't fit a bathroom upstairs, then I'd bring it downstairs. But I don't end up doing that. I do end up doing something else with that room, so it's a good job I left it. And then so if you can see, there's like two little 2x1 cubes. There's one here and there's one under the stairs. So this one here, I imagine to be kind of like a pantry. I wanted to put in a shelving unit, but they were all way too wide. And I just imagine maybe there's some shelving in here. This is kind of the place where people would keep like their hoovers and stuff. So I just added some basic shelving. Your sim might not be able to get to it, but it's just the illusion. And then I think on the wall I had like a little dustpan and brush and stuff. It is just some like extra storage. These cottage houses do tend to have that. They have like a little nook somewhere, like whether it's under the stairs or tucked like in the kitchen. They have like a little place where you can put like your just like shelves for maybe just additional storage in your kitchen, or like your hoover, like I said, decoration boxes, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to recreate that with that little cupboard there. And then this is our living room that we are working on. It's going to be our living/diner. We do manage to fit a dining table in here. And I had to include like this log fire. It's very ornate, which I think is nice. I think it matches this cottage vibe like very well. And it's like, I think it's a log one, so we don't need a chimney because it can just go directly out the wall. But these cottages always have normally a coal fire where I'm from. All of them. And they have like really nice ornate like fireplaces around them. Unfortunately I couldn't do that, but I could add in the log burner, so I think it still counts. I've been in cottages where they kind of have both. Sometimes if they've got multiple like living rooms, they might have like a log burner in one and then a coal fire in the other, so it still matches the cottage vibe. And honestly, I love them. I would love a log burner, especially like just in the winter. I think there was nothing nicer than coming in and like making a fire. I just think it makes the room so cozy, and I wish they included them in more houses, like, but a proper fire, not like an electric one. And then come in, and I did initially pull out that blanket stand, and I was going to add that in, but it was so big, it was way too big for this space. It wasn't really fitting in properly, so I just brought out this little basket, and it has like blankets and cushions in it, which I think is super cute. As imagine like as I'm watching movies and stuff, they sit under a blanket, and then I pull out like the little embroidery set, because I feel like it just suits this house really, so they have no option but to be into that hobby. I add in a little lamp, and then again I remember to add in the windows. This place doesn't have too many windows, but I find that in the cottages I've been to, they don't really have too many windows. They are kind of like a little bit cave-like sometimes, so they're a little bit dark, a little bit like the rooms are small, there's not much like natural light, but I love them. I'm obsessed with them. I really want one. It's like my dream house. So yeah, I just kind of didn't add too many windows. Although they do have windows, but they're not like huge modern ones, so like not too much light gets into them. So they're not like, the rooms aren't like flooded with light. Like obviously they're not dark, but they're not like, there's not windows everywhere, so it's fine that there's only 2 in here. And then I just added like a little table into the corner with some flowers on top of it, and then coming in and adding in some wall decor, some paintings. I really wish we had more paintings that are like family paintings, I guess. I know you can probably get them off the gallery, but like as if the Sims who live in the house have like taken pictures with each other and they're on the walls. I guess if you played this house for real, you could take that like through the generations and then have them on the wall. But yeah, I just wish you had more pictures like that give like the family feel. I found these wooden hearts and I put them above the dining table there, and I think they look so cute. This one I'm pulling out now is base game, and this is kind of what I meant. Like it has a few swatches where it looks like they could be portraits, and there is one and I couldn't find it, and I've seen it because I've used it in one of my builds. I have to go back and watch it, and it's a frame and it has multiple swatches, and the swatches change the picture, and I'm sure one of them is like a lesbian couple, they're getting married. I think one is a gay couple. I think one of the women is in like a sari, and there's just, I wanted one of those because I wanted the marriage photo, because I imagine maybe these Sims are married, so I wanted to include that on the wall. I couldn't find it. I thought it was these base game ones, but I couldn't find the swatch I was looking for, so I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of find where. I can't remember what build I did it in, but I'm sure I've seen a picture, and there's different swatches and they include wedding portraits, and there's one of 2 guys in suits and then 2 girls, and one's in a sari, and I think one is in a white wedding dress, and there's also other swatches, but I couldn't find it for the life of me, so I just give up in the end. And I think I found enough photos for the wall, so. And then under here, again, I'm just recreating one of these storage areas. I think I go with more like cleaning supplies in here, so I do think I put another another dustpan and brush in here. I think I didn't end up putting this in there, but I was toying with the idea of adding this. I know it's huge, but I feel like it's okay because this isn't really a place your Sim would come. It's just kind of more for like aesthetics and like I don't know, it's just more to suit the house rather than a place your Sim would be, so I think that's fine. And then these little windows I had here I thought looked so cute from the outside, but I didn't realise they stuck into the house so much, and I think it's because they should probably be in a roof and I was using it for a second floor, so I did have to get rid of those in the end. And then this is me trying to figure out what I want to do for a floor plan, because I was trying to fit in 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, but I didn't want the rooms to be huge because, again, in cottages, rooms aren't huge. So I was trying to make them like super small and cozy, but also big enough where like the layout made sense. And I did try a couple of ways, but this is literally the only floor plan that could work, especially with the stairs being where they're kind of like in the center a little bit. Yeah, there's really only one floor plan option, and it was this one, without making it like super open plan or the rooms like super big. And at this point I was trying to put the bathroom upstairs because that is like true to cottages. I didn't really want to have it off of the kitchen, and this, like, I think I tried like 2 or 3 different floor plans, but in the end I pretty much go back to the original one because it's the only one that really makes sense for the space. I do end up utilizing the space upstairs like next to the stairs there on the landing, so we do something with that. It's not just like this big open hallway, and it works out in the end. And then I think I come downstairs and do the bathroom next, or I might do it's not a bathroom downstairs anymore, it's a utility that ends up being. I add this stone flooring to the bathroom upstairs and the utility downstairs, and I love it. I imagine it being like a slate floor, which I do see often in these like cottages, and yeah, I just think it looked really good, so I had to include it. And then for the tiles in the bathroom, I wasn't really sure what to do, like what is like a typical cottage bathroom, I guess. I think I've seen some and they have like wallpaper, and it's never anything like crazy, so I just came in with like, again, I just kind of kept it kind of neutral, and didn't have anything that was like too much, I guess. But these cottage living doors that I'm using, I'm obsessed with. I say it all the time. I need to start using some other ones because I've used them in, I think, pretty much all of my builds lately. But I had to use them here because they do fit the cottage vibes, especially with like those latch handles. I think they're amazing. And then I just added like a little light above each one just to make it look cool. And then for the landing here, I think I decided to go with just like a little seating area. I put some bookcases, and like a little chair so you can come up here and have a little read. And I thought it was nice. I know one of the bookcases, half of it you can't really get to, but I imagine like if this was a real world, you would just reach. You could reach. Like your sim can't, but a real person could. So it's fine. You can access the first one, and I guess the second one is there just for show. I did try and add like a little plant, but the space was way too small for that. It looked so cramped, so in the end I didn't. And then I found these little portraits of their pets, and I thought that was so cute. And I'm going to make everyone probably sad now. But I imagine like maybe all the pets they've taken portraits and added them to the wall. And I think that's so cute, as well as it's so sad. But I think it's a lovely idea, so I added it in. And then again, I'm coming in to try and find more pictures for the wall of things like, I imagine maybe that first one on the left at the top is like a historical picture of the house. Because sometimes they do that where they found like pictures of like a street or a house, how it used to look like 100 years ago or whatever, and then they get to put it on their wall. And I think that's such a cool concept that I added it into this house. And then this room here, I come in and I make this like a spare bedroom. It ends up having 2 twins, and then I do put a computer desk in here, so they do have access to a computer. But I just thought it'd be a cool place where they can have people over. I mean, you could have kids here, I guess. The house isn't that big, but there's a big garden. So you could easily have a couple of kids here, or you could turn this like into a nursery for like a new couple, and then they could like grow into it and then stay here until the kids are maybe just about to turn teens, and then you could move. I think if you had one child, you could probably stay here for a while. The space downstairs isn't big, but I think it's kind of fine. I think you could do it. So yeah, you could. It's not like a starter house or anything where you buy it and then it's so small you have to move out like immediately. I think you could be here for a while with your Sims. I think that'd be nice. And if you do end up doing that, make sure you take your family photos to put on the wall downstairs. And then I had this wardrobe from Horse Ranch, which I love. I love this wardrobe. It's my favourite. I've been using that all the time too. And then just a little chair in the corner with like a computer desk, so that your Sims can come in. I like to add computers to all my builds just because I think it's a good item for like fun and also socialization. I think there's a lot of skills you can do with a computer and like a lot of needs you can do. So I just like to add one and just to get those up. I'm coming in now trying to find a rug, and I have a trouble again because I think the space between the beds is like rectangular and all the rugs were like too wide and it was like looking weird. I don't think I settle on one in the end. I do believe I just leave it as it is, and I mean that is fine. It looks completely fine without a rug. I personally just like to add rugs into all my rooms. I just feel like it finishes them off a little bit, but in this one I don't think I do. And then I also remember I haven't done windows, so I come in, add those. I had like a little light above each bed just for some light. There's no other reason. And then like a bigger bulb just to, because sometimes these rooms are dark, so I have to add in like multiple lights. But if it is too much, you can obviously just change the intensity down a little bit so it's not like blinding every time you come in here. And then I just add a couple of plants and then just a few bits on the wall as decorations. I come in, I think I find some like landscape photos. I use this one again from Horse Ranch. I have used this one downstairs, but I changed the swatch. So downstairs we used the horse swatch, and then upstairs we've used this mountain one. And I do like that. I think it fits the vibe of the house as well. I think this house would be in the mountains maybe. I think it'd have like absolutely stunning views. So I think it makes sense for like the people here to have like landscapes on their walls, because obviously they love living in the country. They love the country, otherwise they wouldn't be here. So they've kind of brought that inside of their house. And now this is me trying to find curtains for these windows. And I do go with these ones at the end, even though they cover the whole bloody thing. And I hate that they cover the whole thing. But I don't know, is it better to add curtains that cover the windows, or is it better to just not add them? I don't know, you guys tell me. You tell me. And then on the desk there, I add in this little light. It's got a little fox on it, and I think it's so adorable. I think it's a kid's, well, technically it's probably a kid's light, but I don't think it is specific for kids. I would personally have a light like that in my house, so I included it. And then here we are working on the bathroom, which is kind of a big bathroom, I feel like, for a cottage. So we do end up managing to fit in like a bath area in the bay there, as well as a vanity with sinks on it, a toilet and a shower. So you get a full bathroom suite. I've said before that I do like to include, if I have a bath in a bathroom in The Sims, I always try and include a shower. And if I can't include a shower, they don't get a bath. Because bathing your Sims takes so long just with the bath that sometimes you just need a shower because you just want to do something quick and not take up half your day with your Sim in the bath. So I never just have like a standalone bath. If I can't fit in a shower, then I use like the ones with the shower above the bath, because it'll just do my head in otherwise, because I'll be like trying to get my Sim ready for work and they'll be like, well, I need a shower. So I'll be like, right, okay, go have a bath. And then next thing you know, they're 3 hours late for work because they took so bloody long in there. It just takes hours. There's no like quick bath option, whereas there's like a quick shower option which takes like 20 minutes or something. But I don't know, let's face it, everything takes forever in The Sims. I feel like no matter what they do, it just takes them hours. Like they could just be walking up from upstairs to downstairs, and like they start the journey at 9 a.m. By the time they're downstairs it's 2 p.m. It's like, what the hell were you doing? Why did that take you so long? And then in the bathroom here, I try to include like a unit. I feel like in these cottages they utilize storage because they're so small and there's not like much furniture you can put. They have like a lot of like units or shelving. I think these cottages are quite good with utilizing storage. So I wanted to include something here where they could put all their towels, just like the bits you have in your bathroom that don't want to be on show, like say your extra shower gel, your towels, your spare toilet rolls, like that kind of stuff. So I just added in that unit and popped some flowers on top of it, and then I use this blind to cover the window. And then I think I come in now, and I don't add too much clutter in here. I think I add just like some simple stuff, like a bath mat. This is me deciding where the bath mat should go. In your opinion, where should it go? Should it go near the taps? Should it go like the opposite end of the taps or in the middle? I kind of feel like it should go either in the middle or like near the taps, because when you're getting out, I feel like you'd step out of the middle or maybe off to one side. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it if I'm completely honest with you. But we are now moving on to the master bedroom, and I was deciding what wallpaper to do. I wanted that like flowery one, but it is very kiddish. It like the pastel colours, and it gives very much kids vibes, so it was a bit much. So in the end I came in with this one, and I wish there was like a swatch of this where the bed frame wasn't black. But I like this like bedspread, but the frame, I just preferred the other like colour of the frame. But this white one, I just thought it matched the room a little bit better. But then the ones with the white frame, I didn't like the bedspread. So you know what, like you just can't win sometimes, can you? And then in the corner here, I did add 2 wardrobes along this wall, just because if there's a couple in here, they might want their own one. And then under the bay here, I create like a window seat, because I think like 99% of the cottages I've been to have these. They always have these deep windowsills, and the windowsills have been turned into a seating area, and I love them. So I kind of had to like mimic that slightly. It's obviously not exactly the same, but we do add like a little window seat, and then I just give them some bookcases either side of it, so they can sit there, they can read their book, and they can look out the window. And I think it'd be very tranquil, and I would very much love it. But here we go. I'm trying to find curtains that kind of match the room but also look okay. I was going to go with these ones, but I felt like they stuck out into the room so much that I had to move like the 2 like sofas way out, and they were like halfway into the room just to account for the size of the curtains, and I didn't really like how it looked with like the massive gap at the back. So I swap it out for these ones, and I can shove them like slightly further back. But yeah, I don't know. Me and curtains will get on eventually. I just don't know when it's going to be. And then again, I come in trying to find a rug that's going to match this space. And again, I don't know if I do find one in the end. I think they're all too big, and I also don't think the colour swatches match like the walls like I want to. So I think I do remove it. I do add some pet stuff. I think I add stuff so you can have a dog or a cat. So it's up to you what you have, or you can have both, and then you can just remove the one you don't want. I mean, or you can have neither and just remove it all. But I sometimes like forget to add pet stuff, so I try and remember to do it. Like in my last few builds, I've been trying to remember to include pet stuff. And then I think that is it for upstairs. So we come back downstairs now and we do this laundry room just off the kitchen, which I think is really nice. It's kind of, I do think some of these cottages do have these utilities. Sometimes they are like an extension, so they're like a newer part of the house. But I just wanted to include that. So we had in like a washer dryer and then just like some basic counters with like this laundry day shelving above it. I do like that because it's got like the iron on it and stuff. I do think that's a nice touch. And then I had some basic clutter, and I do end up adding a sink onto the other side just so they've got like a second sink. Just general stuff like that. I was going to add in like the hand wash basin because I just think it looks really cool. But then I was like, no, it doesn't really make sense because they have their washer dryer. I do though come back and add it later outside because I felt like I had to include it somewhere, and I felt like it just looked nice outside. So that is it with the interior, and now we are coming to do that exterior. Like the little garden, they don't have anything too big, but they have a little space. So I give it, there it is, there's me popping it down. I just think it looks really good and nice next to there. So they get somewhere so they can put their laundry. I imagine them like, again, I think they'd sit out here quite a lot because I feel like this village, I think it's on Heatherdown Bagley that I put it in the end. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. So I think it'd just be really nice here all the time. Like the weather would be super nice. And then since it is a cottage house, I wanted to include some animals. The barn was way too big. I don't know why I thought that would fit, if I'm completely honest with you. But the chicken coop, I think it fits really nicely in that corner. So they do have chickens, and to be honest, I don't know how the neighbours are going to think about that because the neighbours don't have anything like cottagey or animal-y in their house. So I don't know if it's going to be a point of tension. That's kind of up to you. Or maybe like all the neighbours get on. Like they may have different aesthetics, but doesn't mean they like have to hate each other. So they could still be friendly and they could still, maybe they're friends and stuff, but they just have completely different houses. I don't know. That's up to you. If you play with this house, that's up to you to decide. I do then add in between like the chicken coop and the seating area, I add in like the bug boxes so you can have like bees or something. I just kind of wanted to add some like animals, some nature stuff out here. That I think the Sims would have, and then like a nice big tree because I would love a big tree. I think I saw a movie once where they planted a tree when their baby was born, and then they stayed in that house for years and they could watch the tree grow. And I think that's such a cool concept that I kind of put them in all my Sims builds, because I imagine, yeah, maybe they planted it when they moved in and they've been here like so long and now it's like grown and they're super big. And I just really like that, so I've added it. I personally couldn't do that though. I got a Christmas tree once. My mum got me a Christmas tree for Christmas, obviously. And it was like a little mini one, and you're meant to plant it and it'll grow. You can grow like your own Christmas tree. And I refused to plant it in the ground because I was like, well, if I ever move, I won't get to take it with me. So it's in a planter, so I could take the, I have since moved, so it's a good job I didn't plant it. And I just take the planter with me. It does mean it can't grow that big. It's never going to reach its full Christmas tree potential, but it means I don't have to leave it behind because I like it. I want to take it with me, you know. So I feel like I'd be the same. Like imagine if you grew up, like planted a tree when you first moved into your house, and then you lived there for like 20 years and you had this nice big tree in the garden, and then one day you moved and you had to leave it behind. I think I'd be really sad. So I've never done it, but I do love the idea. So we are now coming over to do like the modern side, and when I did this I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do for like modern. I knew I wanted them to have taken like, sadly, like the character out of it, I guess, and turned it like modernized it, but I wasn't sure what. I was maybe thinking of doing like a modern farmhouse, like the other side is like old, like traditional farmhouse, and this is modern, but in the end I decided to go fully modern. And I came out and I knocked down all of the walls. I made it super open plan because I feel like that is kind of the modern build currently. Like they don't really have rooms. I see modern houses as like very open plan, very like neutrals I went with. I didn't like go into it thinking I want everything white, but when I've seen modern houses, like I know there's different like styles of modern, but like just typical modern, they are very like sleek, they're very like minimalist, they're very white. So that is kind of what I went for. It does turn out being like a white and black theme, and I add some like art deco pieces. I imagine like maybe they are into like going to art galleries and they buy like super expensive sculptures that nobody really knows what they are, if that makes sense. Like I know they're art, but they're kind of like abstract, and they're like, you're like, what am I looking at? Do you know what I mean? Like art where you're like, what is it? It's not like a painting of like a landscape. It's kind of like splashes and like texture, and do you know, like that kind of art. I'm not sure what the style is. I think just art deco, I guess, maybe like surrealism, or what is it, interpretism? I don't know what it is. I'm not really up in my art, but you know, like that kind of stuff. So I imagine they have that. And then for the windows and the doors, I decided to leave them cottagey just because I think it matched the exterior. But also I imagine maybe some of the features in these houses you can't remove, like some of them are like listed buildings, which means if you like change the windows you have to change it like for like, you can't like modernize it. So I did go with that. The interior doors I do make modern, but anything on the exterior that you'll see from like the outside, I like that's attached to the house, I just keep it as the cottage style, and then fit their modern pieces around it, I guess. And then I'm trying to find a sofa currently. I wanted one that looked comfy but also modern. I was gonna go with this white one from the deluxe pack, Desert Luxe pack, but yeah, it just wasn't really giving what I wanted. It wasn't like artsy enough. Like I don't know how to describe it. I can just describe it as Art Deco. Like it wasn't like unique. Like I thought it didn't look expensive. Basically, like that one there looks expensive because it's weird. But then I was like, well, it didn't really fit like having the sofa, like one sofa that one and then one sofa this weird one. Even though they're from the same pack, they don't match in my opinion. So I tried adding two of them, but then they were too big. So yeah, I do end up swapping them out for something a little bit. I think it just fits the build a little bit more. And then I do think I maybe swapped a coffee table too, if I'm honest. This space does I felt like there was too much room between like around the coffee table up to the sofas. So I bring them in a bit, I shuffle things around. Actually, do I go with these sofas? Because these do match, they're from different kits. The black one is from the Desert Luxe kit, I think, and then the other one is from the Book Nook maybe? Don't quote me on that, but I don't think they're from the same kit. They might be, but they match because the cushions on the black sofa match the colour of the little sofa, so it's fine. And then I wanted to use this rug because I thought it just would fit this space perfectly, but I wanted it to kind of look like it was coming out from under the sofa, but it was too small, and then when I sized it up, it was too big, so I couldn't use it. I do pull out a few different options. I think a lot of them go. It was just kind of deciding which one I wanted to use and like what direction I wanted the room to go in. I did like that black one with like the swirls. I think it's a base game one. I do think that matched, but I just think the pattern was like a bit busy, and I didn't have to describe it because I guess the pattern of this one I do go with is busy, but it's busy in like a different way, I guess. Honestly, I'm not sure how to describe my thought process. I just thought it looked a bit better, so I added that, and then I added some just some plants in the corner. Again, I kept them kind of minimalist, they're very sleek. So I did that, and then on the shelf here I added in some pots because like I said, I think they'd have sculptures and artwork around more than like clutter, so I think they'd probably be very expensive. They're probably like handcrafted, maybe like one of a kind, so I wanted to add that, but I also wanted to like keep it in theme with the room, so it does kind of turn out a little bit minimalist. It's not like completely minimalist because we do have like some clutter, but it doesn't have like the same feel as the other house. And then I also just added some like awards because maybe these are art dealers, I'm not sure, or maybe they're like musicians. Like I think I used some of like the Get Famous stuff, so maybe they're like famous actresses or something. I'm not sure what their career is. It's up to you to decide. But I thought maybe they had some awards from it. I think it'd be quite cool if they were art dealers. That might be fun. And then maybe they have their own gallery and they go off, like maybe they travel a bit to like collect different art from artists, and then they just have some in their house as well. And then in the kitchen, I was kind of not sure what to do. I didn't know whether I wanted to add in like an island to make the kitchen a bit bigger, or a dining table. In the end, I just went with a dining table because I thought it was like a little bit nicer. I imagine like these Sims do have friends over. They have gatherings a lot, so I kind of wanted somewhere for them to sit. I do end up putting like a little party place outside where they can host people, so I thought a dining table fit it in a little bit better. And then here, I kind of wanted to add like a table with like an art piece on it, like a sculpture, like kind of like a display. But I felt like none of the sculptures, A, matched the vibe of the house, and B, were given like that statement style. Like I wanted to use this bust, but then when I sized it up to give like the statement piece, it didn't fit the table. So I do make it smaller in the end. But then again, having said that, sometimes artwork, like the smaller it is, the more expensive it costs. So just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. And then on the walls, I added in some art. Again, just minimalist stuff. I was going to use these two, but then I didn't like that the swatches were exactly the same and you can't like re-swatch them. So in the end, I think I come down, and use this like big statement piece, and then it's in like this black and white. And again, like it's one of those paintings where like you don't know what it is. It's just art, isn't it? Like it's not really of anything, which I think suits this house well. The thing that I couldn't, again, struggled with again in this house is the curtains. And you think it would be easy because they just need to be like white. But I feel like because this house, it has such like a modern style, not all of the curtains, even though they came in the right colour, matched. I'm not even sure if I end up settling on these ones that I've put out or if I end up swapping them to something else. But yeah, especially because some of these windows are quite small. When I size them down like I've done with this one, it doesn't touch the floor and I feel like it looks weird. So that's why I kind of swapped it out for the blind. In the end, I just don't think I ended up putting anything on it because I just I don't think I found anything that I think matched well enough to stay. So nothing did in the end. And then I add some instruments here, like a violin and a guitar, just so you've got some skill stuff. I think it would be cool. I always imagine like posh people to play the violin. I don't know. I think it's a very posh person's like instrument. I mean, I love the violin. I've seen people do the violins where they're like electric. I think they're so badass. But yeah, I just thought maybe this side is kind of like a little bit more posh, a little bit more elitist. I don't know why. I think it's just because of like the story I've given them, like they're these art dealers, maybe like slightly snobby. And yeah, I think they might just be into the violin, or maybe they don't even play the instruments, they just have them there so when they have their parties they can hire people to play them for them. And then upstairs I do end up changing the layout of this a little bit compared to next door. I do this as a 1 bedroom, and then they have this big ensuite off of it. Having like, on second thoughts, it probably wasn't wisest to do an ensuite because it means like when people come over they'd have to go through the bedroom to access the bathroom. But it is what it is. I mean, there is space downstairs, so if you do end up playing with this you can add in a downstairs bathroom. And I think because they've like modernized this house and it's not like that cottage style anymore, I think you could definitely put a bathroom downstairs and it would fit. So yeah, maybe if you play with this house you might want to do that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter in The Sims if they go through the bedroom. It's just like in real life that you wouldn't want that to happen. And then in the bedroom here, I want to add like a statement wall piece, but I didn't want it to be like too crazy in terms of like colour. So I settled with this one in the end, and it's not really giving what I wanted. It's just kind of a little bit of difference because I didn't want every single wall in this house to be white. But yeah, it just kind of gives like a little subtle like print on it, which I think is okay. And then come in and start adding in the bed and the bedside tables. Again, I do switch these over. I find some better ones. I think when I'm doing the wardrobes, I find the stuff from Get Famous, and then I start bringing in kind of like a lot of stuff of that into the room, like a lot of those items, and it changes the direction slightly of the room. Because I felt like currently it's very white in here, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it looks a bit stark and a little bit bland. It needs kind of like an accent colour or something. So yeah, I find it's not Get Famous actually, it's High School Years, this wardrobe. And I think it just looks very upper class. It looks very expensive. So I decided to give it to them. And then I kind of shuffle around the furniture that's already in here to match all that. I try and find the matching bed and I pulled this one out, but although I love that bed frame, I think that bed does give teens, just with the prints, or like teen/young adult. I don't think it gives like sophisticated, which is kind of what this room is. So I end up swapping it out for this one in the end with these like matching bedside tables that match the wardrobes, and I think it just kind of elevated the room a bit. It kind of made it feel a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more expensive, which I think definitely suits this side of the house. And then in their bay window, they do not get a seat. I was originally going to do a desk with a computer in it, but then I kind of feel like the landing upstairs is so big, I can fit like an office out there. So I do this little vanity so that they've got somewhere to do their makeup. Maybe they can like dry their hair here. So they get that instead of the seated window, which I think fits this house a lot better. And I mean, I'm not saying that these Sims on this side of the house can't read and stuff. I think that they're just different, isn't it? They just wouldn't. I think they'd have a vanity where they can get ready. I think they're more into their like keeping up their appearance and stuff, if that makes sense. So I think it suits them a little bit better. And I'm just trying to come in and shuffle in these things. The light, it's not a vanity, like that ring light. I wanted to use that because I feel like we don't have enough mirrors that sit on these vanities. Like they've given us them, but if you want to sit down and do your makeup, what are you going to look in? You know? So this is the only one, but you can't put it anywhere you want. It has to go in a certain slot. I'm sure there's like a way around it. I'm just not 100% sure on how to do it. So I had to kind of shuffle things around it so I could fit it where I wanted to. And then when I was trying to find a plant to go in the bedroom, I found these like potted, like maintained ones. And I thought they 100% fit this build. So I pulled out all the ones I could see and put them downstairs, just so when I came to do outside, I like remembered I had them that I wanted to use. I'm coming in now and trying to find a rug to go in this space. Again, I think it's because these rooms are like awkward shapes. I don't know what it is about them, but I just found like a lot of the rugs I wanted to use or were thinking of using, they just really didn't fit. In the end, I do kind of come in with, it's only a small one I use, and I just pop it at the end of the bed just to kind of, I guess, break up the space a bit, break up the flooring. And I don't think it looks too bad, but yeah, maybe I should have put it in front of the wardrobes maybe. I'm not 100% sure what to do, so I left it where it was. I think it's okay in the end. And then I just give them like a little mirror. I think it's the same one from high school years. It has like the LED lights around it, and I really like that lamp. And then like a main light in there. And now coming into the bathroom, we kind of follow the vibes through of the bedroom. It's very luxurious in here, I feel like. It's very modern. We have like a nice marble floor. I use this wallpaper from, again, high school years, I think. And have that around. Then they have like this nice big vanity where I give them like a double sink situation. So if there is a couple in here, they can like use the sink at the same time. I just think that having bathrooms where they have two sinks is just high end. I don't know why. I think it's because in like the houses I've lived in and stuff, the bathrooms are too small to be able to fit two sinks. So it's like luxury. Like when you go to a hotel and there's like a double vanity, you're like, oh, this is posh. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's just the way I've been brought up. So when I want to do like these expensive houses, I always include two vanities, two in them, and I think it just screams money if you ask me. And then they just get some very basic clutter, like some towels on the wall, a plan, dressing gowns, that stuff. Again, I wasn't adding in too much clutter because I think everything in here would be very sleek and organized, so I wanted to like bring that through into here. I added in this plant because I thought it looked a bit weird, and I felt like it matched like the Art Deco artsy side of this house, so I added it in the bathroom. I feel like maybe it's a talking point. They're like, when someone uses the bathroom, they're like, that's a weird plant, and then they go on this spiel about how it's imported from somewhere and it's like one of a kind and it costs so much money to bring in. So I think it's one of those sort of plants. And then I wanted to use some sort of light in here, but I wanted to be a little bit funky, and all the funky lights were massive. So in the end, I ended up using that black and white one because it's the only one that could size down and still look good. All the others, I felt like when you sized them down, they looked a bit weird. Like sometimes I think when you size down items, you can tell they've been sized down. Not everything can go to like such a small size and look like it's meant to be that size. So yeah, I went with that. That's basically the only reason I chose it, because it looked good sized down. And then they do get like a little office area up here. Maybe they work from home. Maybe they have like, they do their art gallery dealings up here. So I wanted to add that in. I thought it'd be so fun if we could add in a piano, because again, I imagine a piano is a rich person activity. So I thought it'd be really good, but the piano was way too big. And when you sized it down, it did look fine, because you can get like mini grand pianos, can't you? But then I was like, I don't know how that's going to like play with the Sims. Like they might not be able to use it, or when they sit on it, it might look weird because they'll be like hovering playing this piano that's like too small. So I got rid of it in the end and just went back to the bookcases. And then I add these like artworks onto the side, like that little matching set. And then on this side I add in like the same photo that's downstairs, just in a different swatch, just something like bold. And then this little planter underneath, which I guess doesn't like, I feel like you wouldn't expect to see in this style of house, but I think it does match, so I appreciate it and I leave it. I think it looks good. And then I don't add too much up here. They have like a sofa in the corner there, and then they just have like a little book space, an office space, and a rug. I mean, if you were playing with this and you did have two Sims, you could shuffle things around. You could put the desk where the bookcases are and have two desks, and then the bookcases where the desk is. So you can fit more desks in here. You could fit more skill items. So there's definitely room for you to, if you do play with it, for you to add like your Sims personalities and like specific activities and skills that you want them to do. I added in these two huge lights. I'm not sure what pack they are from. I don't think I've ever used them before. They're very big and they are very bold, I will say, but I think they fit this house perfectly. And now outside, I kind of, as soon as I'd done the house, I knew what I wanted outside to be. I wanted it to be a hosting area. I wanted them to be able to have friends over on like the weekends. I imagined them all coming over here. I kind of imagine them maybe like going out during like a Sunday, maybe they go out, they go shopping or something, and then they end up doing like a little bar crawl, and they come home drunk and they have like a party in their back garden with their friends, like just like a gathering, like continuing on the good vibes from the day into their garden. So I want to add that. They do get a little mini pool and some seating to go around it, which I think is so, like, I didn't expect to be able to fit it, but Like I was like, when I thought of putting a pool, I'd be like, I don't know if it's going to fit. I don't know if it's going to look ridiculously small. But it's just like a lounging pool. I feel like maybe they just can't use it to swim, to suntan. Like they're not doing laps in it. They're just like chilling. If it's hot, they have like a dip in the pool and just relax. And then they had some like little beds around it so they can sunbathe, and like a little table so they've got somewhere to put their drinks. They have the barbecue in the corner, which I do end up shuffling it around because I wanted to add in a bar, because you know, if they are party people, they're going to need somewhere to get their drinks from, and I couldn't fit the bar on like the inside where the kitchen is, so I was like, a garden bar fits this, it just has to go in here. Maybe they man it themselves, maybe they hire someone, but I just needed to include it, and I did. I imagine them having parties quite often, so I wanted to make sure there was like enough space for them to do that. So they've got like dining tables inside if they want to do like a dinner party, and then they've got this area outside if they want to host like a garden party. And whether they invite the other neighbours is up to you. When I was building it, I kind of didn't have any animosity in mind. Like I wasn't building it with like the idea that these Sims don't like each other. I think they'd probably get on quite well. They're just opposites, aren't they? Maybe they're just cordial with each other. They don't have to cordial. What is that word? Like, do you know, they just say, when they see each other, they say hi, but other than that, they're not really in each other's business. And then I did repaint the awning because I thought they can't remove it, but I do feel like they would paint it. And I think that's easy enough to do, so I just recolored it to match the house a little bit more. And they also get a tree, but it's a manicured tree. It's contained. It's not wild like their next door neighbour's garden. So this lot is very much maintained. Everything has a place and everything stays in that place. I also give them somewhere for the post, and again some bins, and I think that's it outside their house. I don't think I come in and add too much. The outside is definitely minimalist compared to like is same as the inside, and then on the other side, like the Cottages side, their garden is a little bit more wild. Like it's not like wild, but there's like more stuff going on, I guess. I then come back in and I just quickly clutter up the Cottagey side garden because I forgot to do the front one, and I just added some flower beds, some bins. I think I give them the bike because if you're doing a cottage house, you have to add in the bike, and you know the one it is the one with the basket of flowers on the front, because what other bike would you add in a house like this? I did like try and search for cars because I know you can like get the toy cars and size them up, but I just wasn't really liking how that looked. I thought they looked a bit blocky. I was going to do it for like the modern side, but I felt like how they were turning out wasn't matching. Like I think they'd have like a sleek car like a Ferrari or something, or like an Audi, and those cars just don't look like that when you size them up. So yeah, it just wasn't it. And that is it, guys. We are now going on to the tour. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. Bye.